Hello, everyone, and welcome to State of the Realm, your podcast? Yeah, we'll go with that.
Weekly.
Weekly? No. No, that's not true.
Not a thing.
When we have things to talk about, we're here, and we got stuff to talk about today. In fact, we're going to have a show next week, too. I'm going to promise you now a show next week, unless it gets canceled.
Oh, shit.
So this week we're going to be talking about the very exciting job action trailer, as well as the live letter, all the details that came out of that, and somehow we'll keep the show timely. I promise, maybe. Anyway, to do that, we're going to need some hosts. I'm one of them, Mr. Happy, of course. Sly is here. How you doing,
Hi.
Sly? You doing good?
I'm doing good.
You recovered
okay.
after last weekend, which you were so clearly struggling to get through, and is so tired and out of it, and I was really rooting for you the whole time.
Gee, thanks.
You're
It's
welcome.
the funny thing. The funny thing is, I really wasn't tired until after. Pretty much both of y'all, not even. Well, yeah, just you and Ethis were dead.
Yeah.
Me and Frosty were like, yeah, we were okay. And then once we got off, like about, I guess, 15 minutes later, it kind of hit, and then I was feeling.
Well, I'm glad to hear you're doing better, Sly. And we need a guest for this week, and so
Sure do.
I stole Larry from Frosty, and he's here now instead of there. So what's up?
I was supposed to be on Mog Talk last week, but I wasn't.
I literally, Frosty came into my chat, and I was like, Frosty, was Larry on your show Saturday? And he goes, no, he wasn't able to make it. And I was like, all right, I'm getting him for next show then, because you missed out. All right. There we go.
Got him. Take that, Frosty.
How you doing, Larry?
Hi, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
I mean, with
Thanks for
the kind of
being
job
here.
action trailer we had, there's no way we couldn't invite Larry.
Yeah, something happened.
Yeah.
Something pretty cool happened. So
Yeah.
They raised teleportation rates. That's what happened.
they did. They did do
Fuck.
that.
I have some comments on that later. Mostly some clarifications, because I was worried a little bit about one thing they said, but listen, it's fine. We got some clarity. All I know is I'm going to keep being rich and still not paying for teleports. Going to keep that streak up. Well, before we go any further, I want to thank our sponsors. Of course, Steel Series has been sponsoring the show. We're not currently doing giveaways until the show is back on a more consistent schedule, but Steel Series, you still get the shout out. They've been supporting the channel and supporting the podcast for many a year at this point. And we will soon be returning to monthly giveaways for Steel Series. Also, thank you to our sponsors over on Patreon who have been supporting for whatever reason. We don't know. We can't figure it out. But they're there.
We love you.
And we love
love
them.
you.
Yeah.
Yes.
But, we still release the show for free every week anyway. So, if you're there, cool. And okay, now we got to thank Zerv, too, because he just blows up in the middle of the show. There we go.
Got him.
It's on the stream. Look, you can see it. All the names are listed right there on the right. Thanks. And also thanks to Zerv for gifting 20 subs. You're now sponsoring this show as well, as far as I'm concerned. All right. How do we do this in 2 hours?
Well, Summer's going to take up the majority of it, I think.
Yeah, like an hour
well,
59, right?
Yeah, actually, just the opener itself might take up the whole show.
No, I got
So-
the opener. I'm good. I figured it out. I'm good. We don't even know half of the abilities, but I'm going to pretend that I know it. There we go. Oh, man. So we got live letter number 66 that just passed. And like with every expansion, this is what we like to call the big one. It is the one that answers the majority of our questions regarding the direction jobs will be taking and other gameplay changes for the next expansion. Now, this was a monolith of a live letter, 6 hours, if memory serves. How did
change?
Yeah, a little bit, and some change. Larry, how did you stay awake through the whole thing?
No, I did up to through all the job changes, because that was the most important part for us, because it was actually at our raid time. So it started right when we would usually start raids, and we're like, okay, well, we're not doing that. This is more important. So, yeah, we watched all the way through there, and then once they took the break to start doing battle system changes, we're like, okay, it's 2 a.m. Yeah, we're going to go to bed. So then I caught up in the morning.
All right.
I saw you guys did the whole thing, so.
Yeah, oh boy, did we. That was a decision. that I feel like we keep regretting, but we're going to keep doing for comedy's sake. Because one of the things we did get out of this was confirmation of letter from the producer live number 67 being at 7 p.m. basically same time as this one.
Oh, I didn't know that, really.
Yes, they did confirm. It will be Friday, November 5th for the U.S., and then that'll be Saturday pretty much everywhere else. And it'll be starting at the exact same time.
Cool.
So
great.
Yeah, great. That's gonna be
awesome.
So fantastic. I'm pulling up the official Discord thing that we have in the translations thing on my phone because I can't pull it up on my PC without making a bunch of noise. But this is what everyone always waits for. Every single time.
This is the big one.
This is the big one. And I think the big thing that we will spend the majority of this show talking about, more so than a lot of the little battle system changes, because quite frankly, while they are important, they spent a little more time on some of those things than I think we want to. In all honesty, so job action trailer, man, it was one of the first things they dropped, to no one's surprise, and it was everything I could have asked for.
It was very good.
It was very, very good.
Yes.
So I want to ask before we start going through the jobs, I suppose in the sequential order they were shown. This is going to be a dumb thing to ask one of you. Which part of it excited you the most?
Summoner.
High New Gundam.
Yeah. Oh, that would be second for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that would be second. If it wasn't Summoner, then the thing would have been probably specifically the moment where the Sage dashed in with the Gundam wings. That would be the second best.
I should have known that you two were gonna come together for this. Listen, I like giant robots too. I'm just not as much as you two.
Mm-hmm.
You two are the true enthusiasts when it comes to giant robots.
I sure am.
Man, for me, it's tough. Summoner's up there. Summoner might have been my favorite part also, because I've been clamoring for that version of Summoner for a long time.
Yeah.
So it's cool to finally see that kind of Summoner. But, I mean, I always gotta... Whenever I leave, I must return to Monkey. I must. And I see the Monk stuff, and I know how... I've spent a significant amount of time trying to figure out what Monk's new opener is going to look like just based on the live letter. And I want it. I want it right now, as far as I'm concerned. Another thing I want to shout out is at the very start, the visual effects with the grids that they had.
Can we get that? Can we get that as like a party tool within 14?
Bro,
Because it seems like they had the technology to do that, right? So we can just like
have you
kind of
seen
map out things.
have you seen our duty recorder? Do you think they actually have the technology? Ask yourself that.
The duty recorder. That was one of the biggest letdowns in the game. Because when it came out, we were like, "Oh, that's so exciting! We can use this to make really good videos." And then no.
But the funny thing is, like right after the jobs trailer came out, somebody on Twitter came out with something like displaying, what was it, E9?
Yep.
And the shift for E9.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, if somebody can do this, they can do this shit, right? They have the technology.
Wonder what fights these are. Oh, actually, I think you might be able to tell from the... No, actually, I think all the designs are the same. In the fight... No, I recognize some of those. Okay. I couldn't tell you exactly which fight, but yeah, they're there. Yeah, I saw the animation you're talking about, but still, seriously, do you think we could... This is basically a Junebob guide in 3D,
actually.
as far as I'm concerned. So
his intros are so clean. I love them.
Yes, I do as well. They are so good. Why would the white mage and the black mage go north there? Why did the black mage move at all? I don't...
Tried to dissect where they placed all the raid members. Well, if you're doing that, the red mage is off the ledge there, as many people have pointed out.
Yeah, where he belongs.
A great Easter egg. Yeah.
Here's Suzaku. Here's Suzaku right here. This one's Suzaku. Okay, look, see, we're getting... Yeah, I figured based on the floor, we could probably tell. There is E12. Yeah, there's
really
Suzaku.
is Suzaku.
Yeah. So you get... No, I knew they were real fights. I knew they were 100% real encounters that they were showing.
Wow.
I couldn't figure out which ones. I forgot which one has the swirly arena. I don't know why.
Why didn't they do like Hello World?
No one wants to do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
That's not right.
This is probably going to be like that would be great as a product that they could actually make and sell. Having like a board like that with little tile pieces.
Oh, they're 100% going to make this. You already know they're going to make this and sell it, and I'm going to buy it.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Well, as much as I'd love to get hung up on the boards all day because they are it's an absolutely gorgeous opening detail. It is, of course, the jobs that people want us to talk about. Now, there were definitely some jobs that got the usual, okay, there's like the 2 new abilities we got. Like you can kind of spot it. And I think the very first job, of course, a job that is very near and dear to Sly's heart, Dragoon, the first job they showed kind of had that effect where you can spot a couple of things that are different, but it's not immediately like, okay, what does this really change for me? So Sly, since it was the first one, you got your probably most important reaction out of the way, but you've had some time to take in what they told us during the live letter regarding the changes, take in what we saw here. How are you feeling about this job? Because I'm amazed that you've stuck with this job as loyally as you have over the years.
First of all, from the trailer, I could tell that the Blood of the Dragon was not counting down. I was like, wait, why is it not counting down? Did they remove? And lo and behold, it's a trait. And I'm like, okay, that's honestly great. One thing I was talking about throughout the week was the fact that, in certain fights, it's kind of hard to, well, not really hard. It's just like sometimes I find myself, tunneling and not remembering to, hey, press BLTD before the transition or else you won't have it. And then, lo and behold, like once you get out of the transition, you have maybe but a second, if not no time, and you lose your eyes. So that was a really, really cool thing. And then to add something beyond Stardiver and beyond the eyes that you do have was good. Seeing something added to the AoE combo was really good. Really, like people say that, Dragoon has become the new monk in terms of like getting the monthly buff, or AKA shit we don't ask for. And like, we didn't ask for this shit.
You don't ask, they ask.
It's Square Enix giving the present, and you're like, thanks.
Thanks. We didn't ask for it, but fucking thank you. We'll take it. But yeah, like it's Dragoon's been one of those jobs that's always been in a solid place, and it just seems to improve every expansion. So I think they did just that. It's that simple. Yeah,
and you seem to be one of the people that's most okay with kind of minimalist changes, like making sure there's something that is fixed from the previous expansion or it's just enhanced. Most people do generally seek out some sort of, I guess, more significant change. Not that they want the job to be completely different, but they want that, like, oh my god, that's great moment whenever we get these job action trailers.
Yeah, and really the only change I would ask would be for Stardiver's like animation, because kind of I kind of hate pressing Star. I love pressing Stardiver, but at the same time, the animation timing is just so. It's just
Dragoon voice. Can I get a quicker animation, please?
Man, yeah, that's if we talk about monthly Dragoon buffs. What about the expansion? Every expansion, the jump speed buff. Like literally every expansion since forever. Has come with a jump speed buff of some kind. So maybe Stardiver's the recipient this time. Maybe they do make it faster. They weren't 100% clear about Dragoon in regards to the AoE complaint that has existed throughout all of Shadowbringers. They mentioned that they'd be expanding the Dragoon AoE, and we see that with the new skill. But people really wanted to know about Disembowel, because it seems like other jobs are going to have an easier time AoEing and keeping up their major damage buff. But they just didn't really seem to directly mention Disembowel. And they tried to like circle back and answer the question, but then it didn't seem like it was 100%
answer the question
clear. Yeah.
Right.
We'll find out next week. We'll find out.
Yeah? Okay. Well, I mean, middle of October is not next week, Sly. So we'll find out in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying we will, as in.
Yeah, but I'm saying the universe won't.
Well, I will know, but nobody else.
Yeah. Everybody else, you'll find out in October. Me,
But that's what matters. So do you think it's a 4-part AOE combo then, or do you think like it's an OGCD that you do in the middle? Because that's what I'm hoping.
4-part.
Because that was a new.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was
4?
4-part or if it was like Raiden Thrusts, where it replaced the first part.
Like replaces something.
Because you can't just keep adding buttons to like. I feel like of all the jobs,
you can.
Yeah, I mean you
Yes, you
could,
can.
but you can't. I don't think you can keep.
you.
To be fair, they did lose the Blood of the Dragon button, so I guess that makes room, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it does look like an upgrade to Doomspike. It does. Like the animation itself reminds me of Doomspike, which is why I can't help but think that maybe it's a first combo. And you know what? I think that's really. I don't even think Dragoon's identity has anything to do with dragons anymore. It's just long combos. That's it. Like it's long combos and transformed combos. That's kind of an okay direction. It's the only job that's really like that to the same extent. Like no other job is as robust about it as Dragoon is. Oh, that spear throw at the end.
Whenever they do, if they ever do this, whenever they do like the PvP treatment to PvE skills, if they were to ever do that and have your combos beyond just the one button, Dragoon would be the one that would have to change the most because they're just going to have 2 buttons for their single target. And so they're like, oh, we can add a whole bunch of other things that you can do now. That would probably be like a prime suspect there. But the thing that I thought was pretty interesting was that you're going to get another charge on Spine Shatter dive? Was that the one? I feel like that one needs a quicker animation too, because that's too slow.
Wait, you mean jumps on Dragoon are too slow? I think that's just your opinion, Larry.
It's not as fast as the new... What I don't remember the name of it.
High jump?
High jump. All of them should be that fast.
They really should be. You're not even wrong.
They really should be.
One thing I also can't help but notice is it looks like their new transform skills, like Raiden Thrust and whatever I'm going to just assume it's a Sonic Thrust transformation, is also part of their new gauge for unleashing their finisher. Because they get stacks of this new buff on the right-hand side of it. That. And that's how they do the like twin dragon like spear throw at the end. So just looks like another thing on top of I. And that's I guess an important thing. If you're going to take away managing Blood of the Dragon, then at least making sure that you don't overcap that resource is probably the other aspect of the job they want to make sure you keep on top of. Equivalent exchange, basically.
Now it's the Full Metal Alchemist job as well. So you have 2 dragon eyes and then 2 dragon scales.
Yes.
So you're just ripping scales off dragons, and that's the one that let you do the twin double dragon head attack thing. Yep. Right? Was the 2 scales. Yeah, that one looked cool.
Yeah, Dragoon. I feel like Dragoon gets a good display every time, just because it's mostly the same, but you can catch the differences very easily in Dragoon footage. But after Dragoon, they moved off to the tank role and showed Warrior, which still very angry. The job just, I was like, so what's different? Because a lot of things here are the same. It just is like the flow is a little bit different. Aloha, I'm in the middle of a show. Stop.
Well, first is the gap closer.
Yes.
Is free.
And there's 3 of them, apparently. They said it stacks up to 3.
So it's a dancer.
Yeah. They
Maybe
only
all of
go
them.
forward, but that's, it's not part of the gauge. Upheaval's not part of the gauge. And so the only thing part of their gauge is cleave, 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 cleave. Are you laughing at Aloha?
Yeah, he reached over to me.
Yeah,
he was like,
he does
me.
that.
Pet me, human.
That's what he does for attention. He just puts his paw.
Excuse me, did I say you could stop?
I know what he actually wants. He wants his face scratcher here. Come close. Come close here. I can do this while we do the show. Come close. There we go. All right, here we go.
That's great.
Come on. There you go. I know that's what you wanted.
This is more important than Warrior anyway. It's fine.
To be fair, Warrior mains might agree. So So really, I mean, they took a few skills off gauge, made it pretty much exclusively for the big 50 spenders, and then they changed inner release and gave them a finisher. And it also looks like an AoE upheaval option as well. That probably shares a cooldown or something. They look like they have... It looks like everyone got TBN. I'm still waiting to find out about that because they were really sparse on tank details for some reason. They're just like, they got more gap closers and good luck, pretty much. They like said one thing about each tank. So.
Yeah, they said that thing about like using a defensive cooldown at a certain time will help you, and it's like, well, that sounds like TBN. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
So everybody just yoinked from Dark Knight, like, hey, that cool thing that you have that we don't, yeah. Can we all have that?
I feel like that's just going to be like, for like Paladin, like a free atonement charge, or for Warrior, a free Fell Cleave. Like, I feel like it's literally going to be down to being exactly like TBN, where you get one of your skills that you otherwise need to like qualify for through some combat condition. And then that's going to be your payoff for using a quote unquote defensive at the right time. TBNU.
I hope they feel a little different, just because I don't like it when like the whole roll 4 jobs all get the same thing.
Yeah.
I hope it feels a little different.
That's essentially what happened. That's essentially what happened.
Which is what people don't want. People want them to have like some overlap, but not too many overlaps.
Yeah.
Like basically, I feel like every roll, like based on what happened, what they said after the job trailer, every roll got something pretty much the same. Every roll got something, they said in every slide for it, da 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 da.
The parody thing cracked me up. It was like, why didn't you just make this one slide? Why did you put this on every different roll slide with the parody thing?
Yeah.
The parody between physical and magical attacks has been whatever. Another thing with the tanks is Warrior IR is now 3 stacks of Fell Cleave, and then you get a finisher after. We see that giant slam if I go back a little bit. And they said that Dark Knight got the same thing. Delirium is 3 charges, and then probably their new skill is probably afterwards. And that was probably one of the biggest things. I have a feeling that one of those two doesn't make it all the way through, Endwalker still being that. Because people wanted kind of a more distinct identity between the two ever since they changed Dark Knight. And while I don't think I don't personally feel like I'm playing the same job across both, the design decision overlap is abundantly apparent.
Yeah, I agree. Like the that phase with what is it called? Dark Knight, the one
Delirium.
where you're spamming blood, Delirium.
Yeah.
The Delirium phase is very reminiscent of when Fell Cleave spam on Warrior, but it does function slightly different, so it feels a little different. But if they do that change where both of them are feeling exactly the same, I don't like that either. I want them, even if they're similar design and similar way that they came to these two decisions, I want them to at least feel slightly different. Yeah, I mean that's really all I could say on that, really.
Yeah, I think the tank roll's been most at risk of homogenization for quite some time, and I think that was again abundant with Shadowbringers, and I think Endwalker might lean even more into that. But I just feel like they were so scarce on the details. That's the only conclusions we can come to at the moment. So we'll have to reserve judgment for later, but that's first impression, and that's what matters at this exact moment in time. Now, after that, they started going into the first caster DPS, and they showed Red Mage, which also kind of functions similar to Dragoon. Not super flat. And I feel like they started with jobs that didn't change much, or got like 1 or 2 new skills, or had something that was just fundamentally like a little different. Because that's really the first 4 jobs they show. And Red Mage, I mean, they clearly updated their AoE. They mentioned they updated their AoE, which is good. Red Mage AoE was so boring.
Yeah. Even with those 2 new AoE spells and Shadowbringers, it was still not much going on.
No, it isn't. Now they can even access basically the melee skills now give you charges for your finisher. Yeah. So 3 AoE skills gives you the same as like your melee combo would, and all the finishers for Holy, for Flare, Scorch are all AoE. So the playstyle overlaps a lot more between dungeons and raids.
And plus, they get a party-wide bubble as well.
Yeah, I wonder about that. So I think a lot of Final Fantasy enthusiasts look to Red Mage to have things like that. And so I think that I like that they're kind of not just leaning into the damage portion of Red Mage, and they are leaning more into what is a more traditional identity of Red Mage as a whole across the franchise. I just wonder what it does.
It's especially exciting because it even further distincts the three casters of, Black Mage top DPS, Summoner is, since it still has the raise, still has some utility, but high DPS. And then Red Mage is even more so now with that extra buff, going to be even better for prog, right? So if you're progging, you're probably going to want to bring the Red Mage, at least to help with that. But the one interesting thing about the AoE Verholy and Verflare and Scorch being AoE, the animations are different. So I wonder if those are ones that you unlock in the to level 90 range, and so they're not AoE before then.
Yeah.
I wonder about that.
Yeah,
if they AoE.
Yeah, the new animation's of course pretty, and they also got another. I memed about them getting another finisher after. I'm like, they can't just give you something else after Scorch, right? They wouldn't do that.
We did.
They're like, that's exactly what we did.
Yeah, 6-part finisher.
Yeah, but I like your point to them distinguishing the casters. I feel like the caster role this expansion. I know people are very specifically on and off about Summoner. This expansion between ghosting, abilities and the overall design being kind of, it's just people aren't in agreement about it. But I do feel like the jobs in the role were more distinct than I think some of the other roles were. And it does seem, like you mentioned, that they're leaning more into that distinction between them. And I looking back at the tank discussion we just had, I kind of hope they revisit tanks and think about that a little bit more. I think they've tried to homogenize tanks more just because I think the role has been criticized more by players in the past. I mean, I remember all Heavensward Paladins, see you later, pretty much. Frosty can tell you all about that. But now I just think they are afraid of that more than they are with the other roles, personally.
Yeah, for some reason with tank, I don't know. I feel like they're so far it's felt like they've wanted all 4 tanks to be usable in all scenarios. But I feel like if you lean more into this one's better for prog, this one's better for damage, right? Then it ends up it gives you a reason to switch. Even if you're a tank main, you're like, okay, when we first start the fight, I'll be this one to help with all the mitigation a little bit more. But then once I get more comfortable and we're trying to actually clear, the damage matters a little bit more, I'll switch to that, right? And obviously this changes when you're talking about like World First and stuff like that. But for like a regular raid group, I feel like that would be something you would think about a lot. So I'm hoping that's the direction they lean, because that's definitely what they've done with casters. It feels like they've done that very well, and even more so now with this Red Mage chain.
Sly's over here like, man, y'all got to worry about this shit. I just got dragons.
Yeah.
Sly, were you in the camp, going back to Dragoon, were you in the camp of get a pet wyvern or no pet wyvern? Which camp were you in? Because this is a genuine thing that has been a discussion for so many years.
And people ask me that, and I'm like, why do y'all want this shit to be 11 so fucking bad? Stop. God.
Nail on the head.
No.
Nail on the head with that one. It's all right, Sly. That'll knock you down a few points with 11 people, but for people with common sense, then...
I don't care. I don't give a fuck.
See, I wouldn't...
Half y'all still play 11 anyway, so what the fuck is the problem?
Yeah, you could go play that. I wasn't going to be wanting that on Dragoon, but what I would have really liked is like a dragon form on... Like they get wings and a dragon helmet thing, and yeah. I would like that, where they go into like a dragon mode.
Basically, that's Blood of the Dragon.
No, but look cooler.
He wants them to transform, yeah.
I want it to transform like Reaper. Basically, I just want transform. Wait, Blood of the Dragon, you lose your aura now. That sucks. Sorry.
He wants to go full Nidstinian.
Yeah.
That's what Larry wants.
Exactly.
Larry just wants everything to be a summoner in some way, shape, or form. And he gets his his Bahamut wings, and he's just like, well, now everyone needs these.
Yeah.
Everyone needs Bahamut wings. Then, so at this point, we've gotten what? 1 melee, 1 tank, 1 caster, and then they move on into healers. Now, remember when I said that the ones that were hardest to distinguish the changes or least exciting to display were the ones they put first? That did not bode well for Scholar in this live letter.
Scholar was not exciting?
It's not for a lot of people.
Is sprint.
No, That's not true. Scholar was the most exciting. Do you want to know why?
Scholar's
Because it's the one
is
people are
sprint.
talking about most because they're people.
There's that, but also think about it with the speed boost. Scholar.
Oh, Discord?
Huh? Larry?
Larry?
We lost Larry to the voice.
See, Larry was going to say something about Scholar, and that's it. Discord said, nope. All right, he's back.
What?
Larry, he's back.
You're
he's
back.
What happened?
You're everything you had lagged. You literally tried to say something nice about Scholar, and it just stopped you. Yoshi P just hacked Discord, pulled the plug. That's it. They are done.
That's how bad Scholar is. The universe just doesn't want me to say anything good.
Try again. We'll try.
I'm
again.
gonna say the good thing. So Scholar's looking great because you can use the sprint on people when they have forced march.
Yeah,
So,
I knew you were gonna say that anyway.
Yep.
So when people are forced to go in a direction, you make them sprint off the edge. It's the best job.
That's a good YouTube job for content.
Yeah.
Kind
Oh
of like
man!
what rescues were when we first got them. People
Don't talk to me about rescue. Don't talk. I literally, dude, I get rescued literally across the ocean. I went to Japan and I was like, I'm safe here. And then World First Raider Ice was like, happy. Haru and Ice, such trolls. I love those two. I will say that it seemed that Yoshida even understood that Scholar's changes were not going to be easy to display. He made a specific note that changes to the way the ferry operates are a big part of the changes they made, and that appears to be based on the responsiveness of it, but it's hard to tell because they're not spamming abilities. The responsiveness of the ferry is really in question when you need to issue a lot of commands back and forth. I feel like a test server condition like this doesn't really indicate the responsiveness of it. It's just, it's hard to be excited. All I can see is the gauge never goes down. That's all I can see. The gauge is there and never goes down. Not a single time in this does it happen. I was like, so what is it doing? Why wouldn't you tell us about this?
Yeah. No extra gauge spender.
No, it's no gauge spending at all. They were even doing skills that cost gauge before. So,
what is it now? Just the tether? Only the ferry tether?
Yeah, maybe, and that's actually not an up. That's not an improvement, if you ask me. My complaint was that it's too full most of the time.
Yeah,
but I've started to see experts come out and look at the tooltips we saw for Sage, which is of course competing for that barrier healer role against Scholar, and saying that without knowing the recalculations, that they actually seem to be about on par with each other. So people who are not just initially reacting are coming forth and saying that while it would appear, based on what we don't know yet, that Sage is slightly more efficient, that it actually probably won't work out to be that different between the two. So it's good to start seeing things like that, but it is just not exciting to see Scholar's entry into the job action trailer here. Sly, which healer did you play when you were forced to play healer? Was it Scholar or was it White Mage?
All of them.
All of them? Oh, you leveled all of them too? Yeah, but which one was your favorite?
White Mage.
Okay. I had a feeling you were not going to say Scholar. I was fishing for it.
I liked Scholar at the time for what it was, but I liked Astra at the time for what it was. But they changed. Scholar really did. Well, Scholar changed for. Actually, both of them changed for the worse, in my opinion. People will say Astra is better because, cards and everything. Fuck all that. Bring back old Astra cards, please. Scholar definitely. Look, happy. Fuck you. You're the reason the cards changed.
What? They didn't call me up and say, "Hey, Haps, what should we do?"
Are you sure? You don't have a phone to Yoshi P?
Phone bill. I'd have to check my phone bill. Actually,
yeah, he has that one red phone, kind of like every superhero has.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they would have asked me something like "make it better," and then I did. So,
yes, Mayor. Yes, we want only one card.
Everybody only cares about the balance anyway, so just make them all the balance.
There you go. See, Larry with common sense, all about it.
No, but I don't like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, too bad because it's better.
That's how it is.
Yes.
The P in Yoshi P is phone. That's what I call it. It's just his Yoshi P next to the red phone.
Yeah, but honestly, for how simple it was, White Mage was my favorite, and I found a way to turn any healer into a DPS. And
that's gonna be even easier for you this expansion.
Yeah, sure is with Sage. That's why I love it. But yeah, White Mage.
Okay. Yeah, healers are also kind of tough other than Sage. They just didn't talk about them other than Sage. So we'll have to touch upon that a little bit later. We got a few details here or there. But after they showed us basically one of each major role, except for range physical, they still waited a little bit later into the video to show that for the first time. They then went to Dark Knight, which I honestly felt like I was, other than a couple of things, I felt like I was watching the Shadowbringers job action trailer. It's like, and that's new.
Yeah, it was hard to tell. Yeah.
It's like, that's new, and
I was like, is that one new? I can't tell. I think that one's new.
Yeah, pretty much. The Salted Earth, we know, is now just going to be placed at your feet, and it also has some sort. It looks like it either pulses. I wonder if it's like what we see. Yeah, because you see right there. I'm assuming that has something to do with Salted Earth, the little AOE that they do, where the bubbles rise up out of it. We see something similar with Ninja later, but we also see Dark Knight with a lot of shields. They were like, "Oh, we have TBN. I now also have TBN again."
Yeah.
And they just pop in shields. I wonder if their thing is, while all the jobs have their shields, I wonder if Dark Knight just gets 2. That's their thing now. They just like, I am now the OP shielder amongst them, and that's what you're going to know me for. Because everyone, when they refer to Dark Knight, refer to TBN anyway.
Yeah, because it was so unique about the job. So in order to be unique now, it'll have 2.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. Because other than that, we see like what looks like one new like offensive skill, and you see it come out of both the Dark Knight and Frey. And other than that, I can't really spot anything. And
yeah, it looked like Frey had one more, and then the one where it makes like the bubbles come out of the Salted Earth. I think they said something like that you would get a combo after using Salted Earth, like it would give you access to another skill.
Yeah, and that's what it looks like, because that's what it looks like is happening. He puts the Salted Earth down and then like erupts it almost in a sense. So again, tank rolls, so many question marks. It's really hard to maintain a discussion about the tanks. So we'll just have to point out the obvious for the time being, I guess. I don't really know how. Goodbye, Aloha. Thank you for nothing. And now I got to open the door for him. So.
I mean, it's cool. I think Dark Knight just maybe suffered a little bit from the. We made it really good and like really interesting in Shadowbringers. It has a really good aesthetic. Just do that aesthetic, but more, right? Yeah. So I think that's what ended up happening here. They were like, "Well, it's already good. Don't broke what's don't fix what's broke.
Don't broke what's fixed."
I like it. Yeah, and that and a blade beam. That and a blade beam are pretty much all we see. So please wait for more information. Smile. Then we get to Dancer. And Dancer is actually pretty straightforward, the changes. They detailed them pretty well.
I think we lost Larry again. Oh, there he's back. He's back. We lost you again. You lost you to the void.
Yeah.
It's okay. When we lose you to the void, we only lose you for a second. It's not long term.
That's good. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Dancer seemed pretty straightforward, what they talked about. They said they added follow-up attacks to Technical Step, Devilment, and Improvisation. And we get to see all 3 of them here. You get to see right after Technical Step, they do an instant Standard Step that reapplies the buff to the ally. It has a different animation also, but it looks cool. See, it's like this blue. It's the one from the benchmark also. Then we see Devilment, and then we see the giant like Phoenix go. So they have giant Phoenixes now on the job. I'm a big fan of that. And then we see what looks to be a Medica almost. Looks like actually the Devil... Actually, I think the 3-part combo might be a new combo skill. Just a general new combo skill or a new proc. Because I think the Devilment thing is they throw like a wide array of chakrams at them. Like a line of chakrams. And then Improv is followed up by like a Medica. So, again, leaning more into this, hybrid sort of DPS and support identity that the job has had across the franchise.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
I like that.
I just I really hope. Actually, let me see the improv section. They also don't get gauge during improv. I can't help but notice. I wonder if they got rid of that and it's just a healing buff now with the follow up, or if it's just something with the build. I don't care. Improv's gauge generation annoyed me.
Yeah, I hope they changed that somehow.
It's a really good skill. You know that improv actually. So Monk had issues with the Notman all expansion where unless you timed it against the server tick, it couldn't do anything, basically. That was like the big hubbub before. You know, improv instantly procs regardless of server tick, even though a Notman doesn't. Like, no matter what, if you activate improv while you're standing in a group of 8, you get 10 gauge no matter what.
Really?
Yeah. If you time it with the server tick, you get 20.
How did they do that?
I don't know, but
What
they
technology?
did. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they did. So like one thing to do is like between your auto attacks, if you're stacked up for healing, you just pop improv for like a second just to get gauge.
Yeah.
So that's like a high end thing. So that's why I'm wondering if the gauge part is gone, so you won't try to do that anymore.
Right. No more flickering it to be like, hey.
It's also healing for 5 seconds when you do that too. So it's like it's just useful for those reasons,
right?
Without being like too much in the way. And then they go right into range physical number 2 with Machinist, who, this was my favorite part of my bingo board at the very least. Machinist gets chainsaws. It wasn't the kind of chainsaw I was hoping for, though.
But you still got it. So
I did get them. I wanted it to be like, just like Grinois. Just cut
now,
into
one thing I was
them.
hoping to... One thing I was hoping for with Machinist was that, like, some kind of aesthetic change to the Automaton Queen, but, you know, it's still the same one.
You wanted to suit up, don't lie.
Oh, that would be so good.
No, don't go full Gundam. We have the G Warrior. We don't need that. I just wanted, like, some kind of aesthetic change to the Automaton Queen, but we got, like, it got a, new finisher for itself, and that's pretty good.
Yeah, the new finisher was kind of cool. I was also hoping for... just like a upgraded queen, like maybe like halfway through it, like you push a button and she upgrades and you know she does like a transformation or something, and then yeah. But that's just visual stuff, so there like that wouldn't really make anything feel different, but it'd be cool.
It would look cool as fuck.
Yeah, it'd be cool, and that's what mattered.
One of my biggest things is Reassemble has 2 charges now, and it seems to morph skills. It looks to me like Reassemble turns drill into chainsaws, and Reassemble turns spread shot into a shotgun. So that's my analysis of what we see here. I want to know what level you get to 2 Reassembles. I was in Angelus's stream last night. For those who don't know, Deep Dungeon, one of the major experts in the community, and both of us had the same thought. What level do I get 2 Reassembles at, and can I do any deep dungeons with those? Because if
is
you
it before level 60?
Yeah.
Like, can I get that at like 52? Like, that'd be great.
If not, is it before 70?
Yeah. Second question. Can I use it in Heaven on High?
Yeah, because Machinist is already so broken in Palace of the Dead, and that's going to be a big thing. I know Angelus is already like, I need you to think about Deep Dungeon. All right, please.
Yeah.
Please, everything you do to these jobs, please consider Deep Dungeons. And especially with the hope of getting a new one this expansion, what seems to be not a certainty, but something of high likelihood, the interest in even the older ones is still going to persist. So those changes are going to be very important for the long term for those jobs.
Mm-hmm.
But Machinist, super simple to talk about. Not really much else to say other than those things. And then they move on into Gunbreaker, which, again, tanks. You know, I think this one was a little easier to tell than the others. Like, Bloodfest is now draw 3 instead of draw 2. So no more Pot of Greed. Is there a Yu-Gi-Oh card that lets you draw 3 instead of 2?
That would be too good. Way too good. Yeah. Pot of Greed's already too good.
Yeah, Pot of Greed is really... I used to literally say, if someone asked me what Bloodfest did in chat one time, and I was like, you've made a terrible mistake. It allows me to draw 2 cards! Grateful Charity, yeah, but Grateful Charity isn't just draw 3. That's not all it does. Yeah, you have to discard 2 after the fact.
Yeah, so that's card selection. That's not card advantage, now is it?
Yeah, although I guess to be fair, if you draw 3 and then use their new finisher, it looks like it costs 2 cards. So I guess it is Graceful Charity.
Right. Yep.
So, That's as far as I'm concerned. That works for me. Other than that, they can continuation after their burst strike, which is just another button effect. Makes tanking on them even more exciting. Because now if you burst strike into your Gnashing Fang, you're just press continuation 4 times.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And they changed how that works too, right? Didn't they're like making it easy or one button or something
Gnashing
to
Fang
do that
combo. Yeah, Gnashing Fang combo. A lot of people wanted me to fill in my bingo board when they said Gnashing Fang would be 1. And I was like, that's just 1 combo. That's not all combos. That doesn't count for the bingo board. You can't pick and choose though. Mm-hmm. So that seems to be just the big thing. The continuation a little bit more. They have a 2-cart attack now. They can continuation after burst strike, and then they Gnashing Fang is 1 button. I think this is a case of 1 buttoning something being a good method of applying it.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
I think there are select places you can do it in the game, but it just doesn't. For me, it doesn't make sense universally. Like looking at the way PvP skills work versus PvE, it just doesn't equate 1-to-1 on every job as an idea. So I'm glad they're only doing it for Gnashing Fang combo.
Right. Yes.
So
and then the best thing that I thought about Gunbreaker was seeing the 3 cartridges, right? And then just seeing people taking that and just filling up the rest and being like, this is next expansion Gunbreaker. And it's just full of cartridges.
Dude, where's the Kingdom Hearts health bar? But it's all Gunbreaker cartridges.
Yeah. It just keeps going. I got 20.
Oh my goodness. But no critical mode. It needs to be something under critical mode because the HP on critical mode is too low to be hilarious for the meme. Important Photoshop tip. There you go. Oh man. Oh, that's right. Yo, Rins is a Kingdom Hearts. He has a Kingdom Hearts health bar on his stream. You could just replace it with the cards. Oh man. Yeah, I like their new finisher. Also, it looks cool. What was after that? Bard. I feel like they just chucked all 3 range physical in the middle and they said, listen, maybe they won't notice.
That'll do.
Else. Yeah. Everything else was like spread out, like just Gunbreaker's range physical. Just throw 1 job in between. It's fine. They're ranged and they're physical. It's okay. Because Bard is another one they under-explained. And Sly knows how I feel about Bard.
Bard's fun.
That's not convincing, Sly.
It's fun.
I think Bard is fine too. I know it's a meme with a lot of people. I think it's good. I think
what's the problem?
You got a utility thing. You got do 3 songs and then now you sing a song and something happens.
Something cool.
What did they do to Apex Arrow is all I want to know. Because if Apex Arrow is still, I hope I have 100 gauge during my burst, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. That's it.
Right.
I'm gonna be so angry and upset because all they did was add a finisher to it. They're like, oh, just press it again and bam.
This is the expansion of finishers.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong, but at the same time, I don't want you to be right. It's just like so other changes. Songs last 45 seconds now. Each of them
as opposed
gives
to
you
30.
Yeah, as opposed to 30.
Yeah.
So that would be much easier to manage. They also give you these little stickers, and then you can use the stickers to sing a better song. We don't know what that song does. We don't know if there's only a 3-song version of it. And we don't know if there's bloodletter stacks, and we don't know if Apex Arrow still scales the same way, and we don't know how the finisher, how important that's going to be. We don't know if they change Raging Strikes. They didn't tell us anything.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, you're singing more. Good luck.
You know what they should do, since Bane has gone off a summoner, they should just give Bard Bane. And then that AoE move that you push, I don't remember the name. The spiky looking one.
Shadow Bite. Shadow Bite's the AoE one, specifically.
Yeah, that one should spread your dots.
It should have, and it should still. And they've made no mention of it, so I don't think it will.
I'm going to hold out hope. Probably not going to happen.
I love Stormblood Bard. I love that they leaned into the song aspect for dealing damage while having a range physical, because Machinist and Dancer have their own flavors, and I think it works pretty well. But Shadowbringer's Bard just feels behind the times. Like, they just forgot to give it any quality of life at all, and they just slapped a few things on and maybe fixed a thing or two, and then said, good luck. It doesn't feel good to play. It performs perfectly fine, but just is missing that feel.
What is the Bard feel to me was having, like, Foe's Requiem and Mage's Ballad.
And pulling the boss early with Foe's Requiem.
Yeah. Well, guys, you inch a little too close. Yeah.
Or the arena's too small to begin with.
Right. Yeah, on Ramu, you have to back up. You're like, guys, I'm in the water. Let me know when you're pulling, please.
I just want it to feel good. Dancer and Machinist have those feel-good skills. I think Bard is lacking feel-good.
Yeah.
Personally.
It'll feel good.
No.
I think it'll feel good.
I think that song is going to feel real good. It's going to do 2% damage buff to everybody.
Except the Bard.
Except you. Yeah. That's what is a Bard right there.
Bards are not selfish.
Not you.
Yeah, they don't. They don't even listen to their own songs.
Yep.
There you go. God, I hope. I really do hope for Bard, for their sake, and if I have to play it for my sake, please don't make me play it. That's it. I might unironically be Summoner for the first tier.
Oh,
because we
join us.
We want to do triple ranged, but we don't want double range physical, and I'm the only other person who will play a caster. So I might
do that.
I might unironically be on Summoner.
Yeah, join the club. We got a bunch of new members. We're gonna maybe have to introduce them to every expansion. Your job changes, but this one it's good. So hopefully.
Astro is next, and I didn't understand most of what I was seeing on Astro because they, again, didn't explain it super well, but I was pleased. They added minor arcanas back to being a separate element. The DPS spells look a little cooler. It looks like they even got some new DPS spells. Looks like they got the Star Shower as like almost an Assize equivalent, although I thought that was Star. And it just, I don't know, something about it just looked more exciting. I just wish I knew what most of these things were doing. Because they don't really...
Yeah, the delayed shield is kind of confusing as well.
That looked... I mean, that makes sense to me, because like that just reminds me of Horoscope, but as a shield. And it seems like everybody got a single target. They mentioned that all the healers would get like a single target, some sort of like buff that they could give somebody. So I'm assuming that's a shield or damage reduction or something along those lines. And so... with that, I mean, I don't know. I've always loved Astro, but I'm not so good at paying attention to the cards, so much so that I don't want to grief people. But I'm really excited for what I saw here. I thought what we saw from Astro here was pretty good. A lot of skills that don't look exactly the same as they did before. Some changes to their overall systems without being too crazy over the top. That draw was changed. You can just redraw a single time. I hope that means they've made changes to it so it's not as annoying to get the same card over and over again. Divination not even being tied to seals. It looked like they eat the seals, and then I don't know if that attack they do right after is what they use the eaten shields for or whatever, or the eaten seals for. It's just not
like
clear.
It's like their misery.
Yeah,
like
that's what I thought
they
it
were
was.
like gonna copy White Mage's homework, but a little different.
Yeah, I genuinely thought it was basically their equivalent of misery, which they share the role with White Mage. It would make perfect sense. They're now considered, pure healers right alongside them. So I think that is going to be the case, which will make Astro feel a lot better to DPS on. And that's the other big thing going back to Scholar. All the other healers look like they got some more interesting damage-related tools, which is something healers have been asking for a while. Scholar, we just didn't see anything like that.
Yeah,
I saw a sprint.
Maybe yeah, we did see sprinting. Maybe the healer is just psychically dealing damage. Right? The fairy. Could be.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. At the very least, it looks like Astro maybe got one new damage button, because I'm sure the other skills are just evolved skills. Maybe there is a misery equivalent. I don't know. I'm excited, actually, to try Astro with its changes. Speaking of just getting more samurai...
More samurai, more swords.
Pretty much. Yeah. They quality of life their AoE combos for their buffs. And they gave them just stacks and evolutions on pretty much all their most major identified tools. So Tsubame has 2 charges, Mekyo has 2 charges, and
Mekyo having 2 charges.
and then they have a new super Madare.
Yeah. Which I didn't see how it like what the cost of that was. I didn't like rewatch it enough, but I couldn't tell like how you access it.
I wonder if it's just on a cooldown or something. I don't know, because we don't. All it looks like is EI Jutsu. They just do it.
Right. Like they do the buff for the next GCD, so it's a GCD. We know that.
Yeah.
Unless they're doing it wrong.
You also have to bear in mind that sometimes going from this job action trailer to even the media tour builds, at least historically, there's sometimes differences.
Yeah, there are.
So
yes.
Maybe it wasn't entirely decided at this point. For just visual sake, it could even just be a cooldown that could be kaitenned at this point. I thought Aloha was trying to get back in here. I was about to be upset. But Samurai looks like Samurai. Kind of like Dragoon.
Yeah.
If you liked it before, I don't see any reason why you would stray from it now, because it seems they kept the core identity largely the same.
If it ain't fixed, don't bork it.
Exactly.
See, now you said it differently.
If it ain't fixed, don't break it.
Maybe. Yeah, the only thing is they use Shoha, and then the next thing they do is Kaiten new finisher. Well, they do a couple things before that, but that's pretty much what the gist of it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. We'll level everything anyway, so find out sooner or later.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be playing that because I already like Samurai, and this just does more Samurai, so.
Oh, man.
It's like a super anime slash.
Super anime job.
Mm-hmm.
They, of course, then we go to White Mage. They show off new Dia, new Glare. Benison has 2 charges. We see Misery. So all the key things we're used to seeing are there. But then we see what I'm calling the lily pad. It's this well over here.
That's a good name.
On the right-hand side. Yeah, and it just looks like it pulses a heal after either a delay or it's heal. Yeah, you see just it like pulses some AoE, but it still stays on the field, so it might pulse multiple AoEs. It's not abundantly clear. Yeah, it definitely pulses more than a single time. Pulse twice before disappearing. Maybe it's just like Star, where it's got like a weaker timed effect, and then like it's out long enough time effect. They also don't use a single lily in this. They sit at 3. They use the blood lily, but they never use a single lily. So
it made it difficult to tell like what if things gave lilies or you know if they changed anything because maybe they did that on purpose.
Yeah,
they're like we don't want you to know.
And weren't you saying you were wanting a single target misery or a single target?
Well, I was just going based on. Oh, we also see because then you have what looks to be the Holy 2, and it's like it looks like a giant lily.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that because I remember with Black Mage, White Mage is essentially Black Mage, but it's green. It's, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And so I figured, well, I remember when we had Foul, and then we got a new spell. They just gave us Xenoglossy. Mm-hmm. So I was like, maybe they'll do the same here. They'll have Misery, and they'll have Miserable.
But
Les Miserables.
What would it be that's not... It would have to be not damage, but then if it was not damage, then it has to be really freaking good because... Why else? Why would you not use a Flatus Misery?
Yeah, I'm
right. Because Black Mage is fine because you have singular AOE.
I'm just wondering if the well maybe makes it not cost a lily. Is the big thing because it's whole lily because they talked about this on the thing. It is basically a holy evolution but with a lily, but it's not abundantly clear. I need to know more about that because that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Then Ninja. I'm excited about Ninja.
Yeah. This will look pretty cool.
This was I sometimes I'm just impressed with how they think to take a job in the same direction, but without missing a beat on like giving it something new and flashy. And Ninja was definitely high on my list for things to be excited about because we see they have like an instant Huton application now. They've got follow-up attacks that are like ranged attacks and Huton resets and gap closers and they're all over the place. They're so anime. Everyone making
the lightning gap
Chidori
closer
jokes. Yeah, fucking Chidori jokes from Naruto. Just non-fucking stop. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's just like they have gap, like the thing where they do the gap closer is a follow-up to Raiton. They say as much in the slide later that there's follow-ups to Huton, Doton, and Raiton. Doton just looks like, kind of reminded me of the Dark Knight one, where like pulsed up. I don't know if that was because they did their AoE combo afterwards. But then it looks like managing Huton will not be as much of a chore, or won't just be the random armor crush once in a while. But I think they still had armor crush on their hotbars, so I'm not sure entirely what their plan is there. But it just looks fun and exciting, and I love 5.1 plus Ninja, and I'm gonna love this.
Yeah.
Someone said they're gonna get a QB mode next expansion.
So a finisher as in like you'll do the mudra, like you'll do Raiton, and then you'll have another button. I hope it's the same button kind of, because
looking at his hotbars during the live letter, I think it was a different button because I'm pretty sure we saw all of them. But they also don't have Shadow Fang anymore, so that's another. That's more button real estate, a little bit more. But man, it's just exciting. I'm excited about some of the melees are same-ish, but there's nothing bad looking. The whole melee.
No, all the melee look great.
Just the fucking tanks, man, and Scholar. No one has any hope about those 5. Not no hope, but not as thrilled yet.
Yeah,
I suppose. The other thing is we didn't see Assassinate on his hotbars, but it could be that Dream Within a Dream becomes Assassinate, like as one button. That's possible. We just don't know.
Yeah, that would be a really good space saver.
Yeah. And then they go to Black Mage. I was so afraid they were going to screw up Black Mage.
Me too. I was so worried.
You really think Yoshi P was going to let that happen?
It's happened before. What do you mean?
Yoshi P loved level 60 Black Mage. Don't you dare.
Well, I guess he did, but level 60 Black Mage was okay.
It's leveling Black Mage that sucks. I don't think at max level it's ever been sucky. It's very specifically leveling it
just
after.
getting through it.
Yeah. And it looks like we got ice memes for days because Frostfire Mage is here, essentially.
Yeah.
And that is a cool evolution. So they took away managing Enochian. As long as you're in Astral Fire, Umbral Ice, Enochian's going. So instead they gave you a Frostfire bolt of some kind where you can activate it. Now, I couldn't help but notice that when it initially activates, he casts an ice spell and then immediately casts a fire spell. And then, after he casts his next fire spell, that's when you see it. He has an instant cast Fire 3 after the Blizzard 4, and then it activates. So I wonder if it has something to do with just you charge it by doing 1 ice, 1 fire spell, and then that charges your Frostfire mode. But it also looks more like it's ice-based here, and then later it looks like it's more fire-based, and we see what looks to be the high Fyra that they were talking about a little bit later. Yeah, because he uses it to cast a giant Frostfire explosion separate to Despair. And then when he casts what looks to be High Blizzara or High Blizz, whatever the heck he wants to call it, he gets that Frostfire bolt back. And then Freeze gives 3 Astral Fires, casts it again, uses it again. It's just, and then casts it again. And then he casts High Fire and gets it back. So again, I'm really curious what manages that, if it's just a matter of doing 1 fire and 1 ice gives you that charge, which would make it so every rotation you would actually get one.
Yeah, it seemed like it was when you were swapping between Umbral Ice and Astral Fire is when you get it. Yeah. As long as you did a spell before, as long as you did a fire ice spell before then.
Yeah, it's either tied to his Umbral Hearts, which I don't think is the main thing it's hard to tell is because he gets one going from fire to ice. Which would mean that it doesn't have anything to do with the Umbral Hearts. But it does. But
I don't think it has to do with the Umbral Heart. I don't think it would, but it could. I think it's just going to be when you swap, as long as you did an ice or fire spell in that phase. Yeah. Maybe not even that requirement, but it's definitely when you swap.
Yeah, because that would make sense, because right now it's pretty common to skip Blizzard 4 when you have really high spell speed. So I wonder if they're trying to force that in a little bit more.
Force you to do it so you get the Frostfire thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of also trying to fit, because he gets tons of instant casts, and then he's able to use them on the foul. His fouls and a glot. Dude, we were memeing saying Black Mage was just going to get a 2 polyglot spender and a 3rd polyglot. We thought they were going to Gunbreaker this job.
Yeah. I thought so too. I thought it was going to get, if anything, like a new Fire 4, but that was it. Like, I'm so glad that like it's so cool because they managed to expand on the rotation that's already there, right? And I'm like, I couldn't even think of another way to have expanded on the rotation more than what it already had. So it's great. I'm very excited for it.
Sly, when are you trying out Black Mage?
After Sage, probably. Well,
Oh, you are gonna do it? I was saying it as a joke because I didn't think you were much in the caster category for Final Fantasy 14. Much interest in the casters.
Yeah, after Sage, I'll probably be on Red Mage.
Really, Red Mage?
Yeah, Red Mage looked interesting to me, so like I'm definitely interested in Red Mage. But yeah, like I was, I actually liked 60 Black Mage at the time.
Again, I don't think there's anything wrong with 60 Black Mage in a nutshell, but it was leveling and getting to 60 and being like, so your job is different now.
That's the fucking thing that I hate. Like, I hate leveling it. Once I get to, right now I'm kind of semi-working on Black Mage, and it's boring as shit. I fucking hate it.
Early on?
Black Mage. Yeah, early on Black Mage.
Like, early on, Black Mage fucking sucks. But like once you get to it and you have the complete kit, like it feels so good to kind of play. But yeah, like I don't like, I kind of get a little confused during leveling. I'm like, wait, like this feels wrong. I feel like I'm doing something wrong.
That is the best way to describe Black Mage. Like, this feels wrong.
Feels wrong. Like, I have to ask people, am I doing something wrong? Like, they're like,
no, it's just all you have at that level.
Yeah, at some points you gotta like do stuff that would be wrong at max level, like using transpose in places where you should never be. Like that kind of thing ends up happening. So yeah, I've seen a lot of people talk about the Enochian change and being like, this is gonna make a lot of people angry and blah blah blah. I'm like, why? It doesn't matter if Enochian's gone. You never lost it anyway.
You never lost
it
if
if
you
didn't
screw up. Because now, if you screw up here, you'll lose it, essentially. So losing Astral Fire Umbral Ice should, in theory, because it's tied to that now, still halt your Polyglot generation, which is the main thing Enochian is doing, other than, obviously, a flat damage buff. So it's just, basically, it removes one off global in your opener or when you screw up. That's essentially what it has.
It's one OGCD that's got.
Yeah. So, I wouldn't say too groundbreaking of a change, but also certainly not something to be upset over. We do also know they get 2 sharp casts charges at sometime between 80 and 90, so that's going to make for even more mobility. Black Mage has the stigma of not being a mobile job right now. It is one of the most mobile jobs in the game. It's more mobile than like practically.
It's more mobile than Red Mage.
Yeah. Unless you want to use your gauge for reprises. So if they do a lot of instant casting here, so it looks like when playing ideally, you'll have, again, even more tools, but if you don't think ahead, you'll probably still be screwed.
Yeah, it's still going to be hard. Like, that was the other thing I saw, like, people saying that Enochian's gone takes the job difficulty away, but no, that was the bare minimum. The bare minimum was not losing Astral Fire Umbral Ice. Everything else was more intricate. It's still going to have all those other things. Yeah, that can make Black Mage harder.
Chad even makes mention that now if you go lose Astral Fire Umbral Ice, you're delaying your Frostfire also because you've reset the charges on that. So if anything, you lose even more.
Yeah,
by dropping a form now. It's just a matter of not pressing an OGCD.
Probably why they wanted to do that then. Yep. They were like, oh wow, yeah, if you drop this, you're gonna lose the Ice Fire, you're gonna lose Enochian, this is really bad. Then you're just gonna go to Fire 1 and you're gonna be sad, right? So yeah, that's probably why they did that.
Yep. I'm so excited. Then we get to Gundam Healer. Sage.
Yeah, boy!
We got a lot of info about this job. The tooltip breakdowns for this have been phenomenal.
Yes.
Welcome to Final Fantasy XIV's Smite Priest. If you've played WoW, you'll understand that, because this is officially our DPS to healer. Important note about that, it's essentially the Ferry, but you're DPSing to access that same healing, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and another cool thing is like the dance partner mechanic sort of for the heals, for the DPS heals.
Yeah.
Which you would essentially want to have on your main tank. Pretty
the big thing is going to be that you will actively be swapping it. You can't. It's not like dance partner where you can leave it on the same person.
Yeah, you're not going to leave it on yeah, you're gonna once the tank swap happens, you're gonna swap it to whoever's
Right.
taking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just love the hilarious prospect of having. So one big thing I've already thought about for Sage. So they have like 5 gimmicks, 5 different gimmicks on this job.
Yeah.
The first is that they can partner somebody, and when they do damage, they heal that person. They can double that healing, apparently, with a different spell. And that
What?
Double the heal,
I
yeah.
didn't-
Yeah.
Like for a time?
Yeah, for a set period of time.
A duration?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Cool.
already screams to me situations where you have room-wide attacks and tank autos at the same time, or tank damage that is exclusive at the same time. And I imagine being like, all right, the tank's taking a ton of damage. Let me DPS. All right. But I'm healing more. I promise I'm healing more, but I'm DPSing. Like, I doubled the healing, but like, seriously though, this orange parse isn't gonna get itself. All right.
Right.
So it's every sage is just gonna be so important how much they actually DPS. And that is something I was afraid the devs would. I didn't think the devs would do it. I genuinely didn't think so.
If you were to ask or tell me that there was going to be a healer that it cared about how much damage it dealt in order to heal, I would have thought that would be almost broken in our game, because that would be something that everybody would take always, right? But it seems like they managed to do it in a way that it's not broken.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like it's like they did it right, and so it's very interesting that they were able to do that. Did they say that there was also that version, but for AoE as well? Like, put it on a bunch of people?
No.
And do
So
damage?
looking through the tooltips that Yoshi P hovered over, there was nothing in that vein where you can heal the whole part. Well, there is a single spell that is like that, but it's more a size-esque than it is,
The laser?
Yes, the laser.
Yeah. Okay. That's a laser and then an AoE heal around you.
Yes. That's going to be a pretty big one. And the laser itself doesn't do more damage than you just spamming your spells. It does, at least in the build that we saw, it does the same amount of damage. So you are not just using it for DPS. You are still considering its other effects, but it's going to deal damage as part of the gameplay loop.
Cool.
Gimmick number 2 is their ability to augment several of their skills. It can augment their base single target or AoE heal to also have a shield on it. And
you got dark darts.
Yeah. And it can also augment their single target nuke to have a dot. It doesn't cost anything. It just has a short cooldown, so it's just about choosing when you want to augment versus when you don't want to augment.
Yeah.
So that's going to be another small thing. Worth noting that in the tooltips we saw, those are the only shields that the job has, are its augmented single target AoE heal, which has surprised a lot of people because it's a barrier healer. But can you name me all of Scholar's shields?
It has like 3? Yeah, it's got Sucker, the AoE. It's got Adlo, the single target. The Fairy had a shield.
Seraph.
Does it still? Seraph has shields.
Yeah.
That's it. Oh, well, Sacred Soil.
No, that's a bear. That's a bubble. That doesn't give you like a health shield. Yeah.
Right.
So
yeah,
I
that's
feel
damage reduction.
I feel like one of the skills we haven't seen probably also gives a barrier, because there are some skills we don't know what they actually do for Sage still. And that's pretty much part of the course for a barrier healer in 14. It is not everything is a barrier. It is we have quick and easy, consistent access to barriers more than anything else. And so those 2 augmented skills based on the tooltips we saw are going to be those 2. Interesting thing, another job resource they have, it looks like when their shield gets broken on the Dark Knight, that they get another buff, which according to the tooltips is called Adder Sting, which they can then use on another offensive skill. So they have like timed counterattack procs and stuff like that.
So good.
Yeah. And then they have a gauge that generates every 30 seconds that they can use on instant casts.
So good.
There's so many. It's like, I remember reading a YouTube comment. They said, so they just took every idea on the whiteboard and just put it in, huh? They didn't cross any of them off at all, did they?
Yeah. They're doing their developer meetings and they have like a list of things they want to put in, and they're like, yeah, all of them.
Yeah. Should it have mobility too?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, throw it in.
Throw that in there too.
Wait, none of the other healers have that. Oh, no, that's okay. That's
okay.
fine.
That's all right. That's all right. So
man.
Haps.
Tyler has one.
Yes.
Haps. Teach me how to blitz.
Stop.
Oh, man.
Stop.
But
I will. I'll teach you how to masterful blitz. I just hope you don't
Exactly.
want to be a blitz ball when you grow up.
No.
Do you think we'll finally get that in Endwalker?
No.
Come on.
No.
This is the only blitz you're getting. And it's masterful.
All right.
No.
Okay. All right.
So
Sage is really cool.
tell us,
And then the
tell
wings.
us about
Trying to get you off this blitz ball thing just as hard as we
Right.
can.
tell us about Monk.
Monk is actually there is some give and take based on what we can see already on Monk. I've mulled over Monk's because he hovers over a bunch of tooltips, so we know a few basic things. We know PB has a 40-second charge time and you get 2 stacks. Unfortunately, in the build he shows us, where he's live demoing it, you can use it out of combat, which means that you have a wonderful, wonderful 30-second pre-pull macro for PB. And that needs to not survive until when Endwalker comes out, because every time I feel like they've learned and we don't need to do this anymore. Warriors we've had the 70-second warrior pull macros, and we've had the 30-second astro pull macro. We don't want this. 15 seconds is fine. 17 seconds is fine. That's like the upper limit for most people. We don't need a pre-pull PB to...
That's the first thing you're going to check, huh?
Yeah.
At the Mediator, that's the first thing you're going, Monk, can I do this? Crap, I can push it.
So I as excited as I am, I can't help but notice that. Also, another tooltip we saw was Riddle of Wind, which doubles your auto attack speed for like a set time on a 90-second cooldown. It's the weirdest offensive cooldown in the game, by far. If that survives in its form, that's incredibly strange.
It's like ley lines.
No! It's not at all like ley line. Doubles your auto attack speed. That's strong. That's
only
not
auto.
That's not weak. It's just weird. That's it. It's just weird. It's just your auto attack. It's like 100 fists. That's what it is. But it's just weird. So those things. It also has like no OG CDs anymore, like from the live letter. So I don't know if they just didn't have some, but like Elixir Field was a blitz. We didn't see Tornado Kick. I'm assuming that's a blitz. Rising Phoenix is a blitz. Phantom Rush, or Bum Rush, if you so prefer, that's what it was. That's what it was originally in Final Fantasy. It's Bum Rush. There you go.
That's fun.
Yeah. Just rush all the bums. Just rush the bums nonstop. Larry?
I really liked the instant transmission.
That's really cool.
That made me want to play it. Oh, that alone. I didn't care about anything else. Just the instant transmission dashes, and you get 3 of them.
And you can go to players or enemies.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm just going to use it for positionals. I'm literally just going to be like, all right, is the off tank on the flank? Okay. Dragon Kick. I'm not even going to do anything fun, fancy with it. I'm just going to do positionals with it because I look cool.
Yeah.
That's it. And the blitz themselves are really cool. One of the big things that Monk has right now is its reopeners are very rigid. Entering your actual burst window to like meet up with your 90s and everything, if you do not do the right GCDs in the right order, it's awkward. And this new PB and the new blitzes basically eliminate that issue. There's now going to be an optimal way to enter, but if a fight doesn't allow you to optimally do that, you don't have to worry about the setup for it. You can just take PB and maybe adjust the GCD on the fly to make sure you still get the desired result at the end. And I think that's actually going to be incredibly good feeling for the job. But I have one request.
One thing. Oh, go ahead.
I played a lot of Monk in Bozja.
I know.
So I would be okay with Grease Lightning 5. I'm just saying I think it would be okay at this point. I've played 1.57 GCD Monk without clipping. Thank you, West Coast Ping. And I think GL5 is we can do it now. There's less OGs. It'll be fine.
That's just Ultra Instinct. You're just gonna teleport your fists. That's gonna be great. You should do that. Yes.
GL5, got it. Okay.
Yeah, GL5.
One thing, I'm surprised you're okay with the animation for its transmission.
What do you mean?
It's great.
Like it looks. I don't know if it's just me, but it looked like it trailed on, like at the end of the.
Oh, you're talking about speed? Dragoon voice. That animation's too long.
No, it looked fine. It looked fine. It even
I think it looked okay.
Yeah, I think it looks more responsive than shoulder tackle is right now. Heck, it almost looked more responsive than ethereal manipulation. It's like
ethereal
instant.
manipulation
He
slow.
zips so quick in the actual demonstration. It's disgusting how smooth it is. I love it.
That's why it's instant transmission. Yeah,
Maybe-
ethereal manipulation is so slow.
I had to go back and watch the actual when he was actually playing it from the job trailer to when he was playing it.
Yeah, it's oh my god. I think that there is still going to be. We still don't know what a Notman does. I have a bad feeling. Very bad feeling. I think they should make it so pre-bowl PB doesn't exist. Change a Notman to give you a PB stack or something upon pressing it or something along those lines. I don't know. But we can't have to do 30-second pre-pulls. We can't. You can't make them do it again. It's so not healthy. It's so annoying. Might as well just wait for Hollowed Ground to come off cooldown again at this point. Just fuck it. Let's go all the way back. Let's just go back to wiping on the first mechanic and waiting 6 minutes for Hallowed to come back.
Go.
Might as well. Just do it. Who cares, right? You can go back in time.
I don't wanna.
Too bad. But I'm really looking forward to it. I've already theory crafted a bunch of openers for Monk based on what we know. And so I'm incredibly excited for that. But you know who's more excited for a job change than I am for Monk?
Ooh.
Eva?
Eva's likes Astro. Yeah. She liked the star shower thing.
Yeah.
I like that too. I can't help but feel like one of us might be a little excited about some of the summoner changes that are coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Larry.
We finally got exactly what we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Aesthetically, it's just great. It's just we're here. We've waited. We've been rewarded for our patience, and I'm so happy.
No, you're Larry. I'm happy.
Yes, that is true. I am elated instead.
God.
By Sly.
No, he's getting booze.
Summoner is just perfection already. Some people have voiced concerns about how there's no buttons on the bar. That doesn't matter. We can summon Ifrit, Titan, and Garuda, so that doesn't matter. Also, the
Larry,
buttons.
I'm gonna be completely honest. Summoner always intimidated me as a job, and it was one of those jobs where I was glad that it was kind of tied to Scholar in the fact that I leveled my summoner. I leveled my summoner. I just leveled Scholar. So I felt like it had one of those, in terms of openers. And holy shit, I remember someone tried to explain a summoner opener to me, and I'm like, I'm just gonna level Scholar. So thanks. But like you said, it doesn't have a lot of buttons.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's good. It's fine. Well, because it's taking advantage of the fact that you have buttons that are only available for certain times, so why should I have those buttons on my bar all separately if they're only available in certain places at certain times? Right. Slightly bad news. It's going to be still a 2-minute rotation. So
fuck me.
The rotation is still 2 minutes because you do Bahamut. Bahamut's a 1 minute cooldown, so you have 1 minute to do Ifrit, Garuda, and Titan phases, and then after that you have Phoenix ready, and so you do Phoenix, and then you have a minute to do Ifrit, Garuda, and Titan phase, and then Bahamut's ready again, and then it repeats. So
well, see, the thing is, like I said, it's gonna play a little like Dragoon. honestly.
How? Like, because you.
Well,
Cause
I understand.
Minutes.
You see what I'm saying
also.
now. You see what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's talking about going like starting out with nothing in blood and then getting your eyes and getting the scales,
Right.
And then going
Yeah.
into
Yeah,
life,
that's all it
and then
is.
yeah. Essentially
that's all it is.
timelining, somewhat similar.
Yes.
Not actually like playing like
No,
Right.
no.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
But to be fair, it does kind of go through like the same loop a similar loop that Summoner does, like
Yeah, you could like take the image, like the graphic that we use to represent the summoner cycle, and you just take out the ruin spam part, and you just put Ifrit, Garuda, and Titan pictures in there, and that's it. That's the rotation. So yeah, it's very exciting. And one of the things about the fewer buttons is that something that I really like that they did is that when you go into one of the primals, Ifrit, Garuda, Titan, these two buttons change, but those two buttons they don't feel and do the same thing on all of them. They all do something different. So like on Titan, it's a GCD and an OGCD. And so you're doing GCD, OGCD, GCD, OGCD. In Garuda, this one over here, I'm just going to have them here. So this one over here is a cast, and the other one is a 1.5 second GCD. So it's like a hypercharge, super fast mode, right? And then on Ifrit, you have the two long casts on this button, and then on this side, you got the dash in, then melee combo. So you're replacing these two buttons, but all of them feel different. And so that's the thing that I wanted the most, is that I'm not just pushing this one button ruin spam during my filler. Now my filler is I have a ruin button over here, but when I'm not doing that, I have my 3 primals that I'm doing, and it feels different in each one of them. And then we go to Bahamut and Phoenix, and then those feel different too, because those are 2 other buttons that are over here, and those 2 change. So yeah, it's great. We do lose Dreadworm Trance though.
Well, it looks like it's been baked into Bahamut, like Phoenix Trances for Phoenix, which I honestly, with the way Summoner plays now, I feel like makes perfect sense, because you pretty much just try to ditch Dreadworm Trance immediately right now.
Yeah, you go into it, you break your back, and then you Death Flare, and now it's Bahamut time, right?
Yep.
So yeah, so it's good that they did that, and it'll still exist in the game, because it does exist in the level 60 areas, right? So when you don't have Bahamut yet, you'll still have Dreadworm Trance. So you could, if you want to go break your back, you just go into a level 60 instance, and you could do it there. But yeah, I'm very excited about it. That's going to be the first thing that I try out, obviously.
Yeah, I feel like Ifrit is going to be the first choice for most summoners, unless the fight doesn't allow it. They mentioned specifically that the Ifrit gives you access to a 3-second cast, essentially, that hits very, very hard. So I'd assume that after Bahamuting in your opener, you ideally want to get your Ifrit spells into any sort of pot window or anything. But I guess we still don't really know potencies on everything. It could be that it doesn't work out that way, and it could be the fight maybe doesn't allow for you to use these, just because it could require movement at the same time. So that's the other thing. The job has the flexibility to change its first Ifrit, Garuda, or Titan based on what the fight demands of it. If there's AoE, if there's...
Which is amazing.
Yeah, it's super flexible.
I love that.
And going back to Monk, I mean, the rigidity of Monk's PB and its burst window was always kind of off-putting for a lot of people, and it seems like Summoner's trying to tackle a similar issue while still having that extensive power window of all the time, actually.
Yeah, so I think Ruin 2 was gone, actually. So the optimizing of where you're going to put your Titan and Garuda for your instant casts, I think is going to matter a lot, because at the moment in Summoner, like, yeah, you could take a slight DPS hit to go do Ruin 2s. Like, if you're moving and you didn't know that you had a plan to move, you could just Ruin 2 and you're good, right? Like, you'll lose a little bit. But now, if that's gone, and now your only option is do Ruin 3s, right? You're going to have to really plan around where you put the Garuda and Titan. And probably the default, like you said, is going to be doing Ifrit first, get that out of the way, and then that way you can use the movement for Garuda and Titan. So, Ruin 4 will be in there. The only place that I saw that we got Ruin 4 was when you do energy drain.
Yes, according to the tooltips, it gives you 1 Ruin 4 use per energy drain, which is 1 extra instant cast.
Yeah.
Essentially.
I hope there's something else that gives you Ruin Force. Because doing only 1 a minute or 30 seconds, I forget what the energy drain was.
Actually, I
it's
don't remember
30.
what the cooldown is for energy. I mean, I know what it is now. I don't remember if the tooltip said it was different.
I didn't check.
Yeah.
But you could see it when he does it, so I could go back and look. But it's probably tried saying 60 seconds. If it is, then you 1 Ruin 4 every minute. I feel like there should be other ways to get Ruin 4. Just because Ruin 4 is cool.
We'll see.
But yeah.
This is exciting, though. I'm very excited for Summoner.
Yes. And adding to the Bahamut face with those 2 Bahamut buttons.
Yeah.
Like your 2 GCDs that are like Bahamut GCDs is great too. Because again, that's just Phoenix felt cool. Like Bahamut's awesome. But then in Shadowbringers you get Phoenix, and Phoenix has this whole phase that augments your spells, and you're like, oh, Bahamut doesn't do that. So now we get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
it's gonna be sorry, one more thing. It's gonna be interesting leveling through Summoner.
Oh yeah, Summoner. I am very, very concerned about leveling Summoner from 1
What are they gonna do?
90.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it's gonna be weird.
Well, we don't know yet. We don't know how weird it'll be yet.
Yeah.
Then we go into our last melee DPS of the video, and that of the Reaper. Now, I have put more time into figuring out what Reaper openers will look like, because this is probably the most information we got about a job in terms of tooltips hovered over and text translated and stuff. And this is a really cool melee job.
It's so cool. If I wasn't so excited about Summoner, I'd be playing Reaper because
that boy fast.
It's got a melee machinist-esque phase, which he does positionals for in the live letter, so we'll assume because the transform. Dude, I've been practicing in Boja. I've been waiting for this moment. I was as soon as I saw it, I was like, my 1 point. And I know Boja doesn't have positionals, but as a monk, I instinctually do positionals, even if I don't have to. So I've been practicing, and I've been
training.
I know. Trust me, positionals will be... If they leave those positionals in as part of the burst window phase that they showed us, which Yoshi P was doing the positionals for the burst phase in the live letter, we can at least for the moment assume that that is indeed the case. But they're highly mobile. They've got a few ranged attacks. One of them is charged up before battle or charged up during downtime. The other one is part of their portal transformation. It's kind of their like generic ranged attacks. And considering that ranged attacks don't interrupt combos in Endwalker, should feel a lot more comfortable using tools like that.
Right.
So that's another fun little thing to remember. And it looks very different from the rest of the melee, even though I can draw comparisons to other jobs. It's very much, it seems like a very unique experience. I'm curious how much of its design survives all the way until the live servers, because there are some things similar to Sage, like they had so many ideas and they're just like, yeah, sure, just do all of those. Like,
yeah.
There's one skill where everyone in your party in the next 6 seconds, their next damaging skill gives you a stack, and your damage relies on getting as many of those stacks as possible. You get up to 8.
Right.
And so if you have healers that don't DPS, you're just screwed because it goes away after one attack.
Oh my god, you're right. Because you want to get 8.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It would be different if it could persist, but in his demo, he does one weapon skill, and the buff that gives you a sacrifice disappears. And he just
how long does that buff last?
6 seconds.
So only 6 seconds. So you push and you're like, hit him. Like you have to yell at your healer. You're like, put a GCD. Attack
just one.
Right now.
You only need one. You need one
please.
From each person in those 6 seconds, and then you have 20 seconds to use the sacrifice, I think.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, I mean that's going to be a big thing. They had a shield that's kind of like TBN, which is hilarious given that people say Reaper is the Dark Knight we always wanted. Can't help but notice that.
Yeah.
So, and if that stays, the tooltip for that currently says that it gives everyone around you like a weak bloodbath, essentially, for a few seconds. So if you break the shield on like a room wide, so it is like a massive utility in terms of party healing. And there's a lot of party healing utility that seems added across the board here. Like there's a lot more people that seem to be able to contribute to that, especially Dancer with their improv follow-up. So people always see this and wonder if it means raid damage is going up. I never think it does. I've learned my lesson at this point. But still.
Yeah, we thought that with Shadowburners especially.
Yeah.
Did not happen.
Did not happen
No, just assume it's the same.
Yeah, that's for just one's gonna hope. One's just gonna hope that maybe one day we'll finally have a use for healing.
Maybe.
No.
The one buff was probably the most interesting to me was the one where you put the shield on yourself and you pop in, and then that gives the buff to everybody.
The healing buff, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the TBN.
I think that one's very interesting.
Yeah. And then they have 1.5 second machinist phase. It has less OGCDs from what we saw in the live letter, but it's still fast, fun, and chaotic. So I'm super excited to see how this actually works.
Yeah. It has a good amount of OGCDs too, which I like. So yeah, that's good shit.
I'm excited for that. And then they show us Paladin at the end, which we pretty much just know we have the Paladin equivalent of TBN. Looks like Spirits Within gets an upgrade. And Final Fantasy XI people nerdgasming over Promethean, pretty much. And that's it. And then we see the Confiteor follow-up combo. And they're like,
yes.
It looks cool as hell. And I'm just like, okay. Those are replacing, those are replacing other buttons, right? Because I need space, and Paladin's already kind of full.
Paladin is very full. Yeah, I hope it's just the configure button, just upgrades.
I think it'll be your 1, 2, 3, your base like Royal Authority or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Ooh, that'd be great.
Yeah. I hope also that Clemency, since range attacks don't interrupt combos, I hope Clemency doesn't either, because Request Cat doesn't require you to be at 8,000 mana or more anymore. So as much as Clemency is a DPS loss, I feel like part of it is the fear of not hitting your Request Cat MP windows. So maybe a little bit more freedom as long as it doesn't interrupt a combo on top of, taking away from your MP total. I'm hoping that'll make everything okay.
Yeah.
And Divine Veil, please. I hope Divine Veil is not weird anymore.
Weird as in like you got to put it on and then get a heal to proc it to put it on everybody?
Yeah. I mean, I get it's flavor for Paladin.
Flavor.
It's flavor. It's a little salt, little pepper, little paprika. But
yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, obviously it's suboptimal compared to the other ones, so you could just push a button and go on it, but I think it's kind of cool. I could see them getting rid of that requirement, though.
It's different. It sure is. It's different. Hey, you know what? Maybe when you pop the TBN bubble, maybe that's Veil now. You pop the TBN bubble and then Veil goes on. That would be terrible because you can never do it properly in advance. It would be way worse. But like I said, that's probably like a free atonement or something like that. Who knows? And yeah, that's the 20-minute. See, this is why we didn't bother watching the 20-minute. We just played it in the back the whole time. Because there was no way we could watch this for 20 minutes and still do the show and finish it in a reasonable period of time. It's impossible.
It's so long. And it's just going to get longer every time, too.
Sure will, especially...
Also, sorry due to Summoner. Yeah.
Yes!
Summoner was like 3 minutes.
Summoner is... Let's find out. Summoner starts at 14... Looks like 14:15 and ends at 16...
25?
Yeah, 16:25, so 90 seconds.
Yeah, pretty great.
Yeah. Oh, man. I love
a little more than 2 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of time. And then there's still more jobs after that. Oh, right. Boy. And also my math was off anyway. So I don't know what I was thinking. 14:15 to that is 2 minutes and 10 seconds. I was not even fucking close. I don't know why I said 90.
Yeah, everything is on 60 and 120-second cooldowns, Happy.
Exactly. Yeah. And then, so that covers the most important parts. Now, there were other things they took some time to talk about. We joked about it earlier, the parity between physical attacks and magical attacks. Yoshi P, I have a sincere request. Please stop telling people about things like this because they don't get it no matter how many times you explain it. It's like the stat squish.
Yeah.
It's so the parity change, for those who didn't know, magic attacks and physical attacks have a different potency calculation. So it's potency times a number equals your overall damage, in a sense. Like, that's breaking it down. And magic damage had a higher multiplier to calculate the end damage. All they're doing is equalizing them, but do you know how many people have asked me, oh wait, so they're nerfing physical attacks? Oh wait, no, they're nerfing magical attacks? Like, no!
No.
They don't need to know these things, Yoshi P. Just ask more questions.
Yeah, they had different weights. You could just have not told anybody that, and it would be fine. Yeah, they have to do this. We're going to put this up and that one down, so they're equal. Yeah. I mean, I feel like it makes more sense that their potencies are equal weights now, right? Because that's the goal. But at the time, before, how they're different weights, that's a weird decision right off the bat, right? Like, why aren't they just the same weight?
I think a lot of it had to do with the way enemy defense and magic defense was initially calculated or something like that, but it's just redundant at this point. At the end of the day, it just doesn't matter anymore. And every time they try to explain something that's like a game system that's like below the surface that only people who do like testing or min-maxing really notice, it falls apart so quick. And then they have to explain it over and over and over again. So it's just, I feel like it's not worth explaining. Just be like we're adjusting all potency numbers to be in line and say, oh, potencies went through different calculations for different jobs, and they're all going to be
that's
even
leave it at that.
Even that's too much, yeah. But I'd rather that than the neon scale that they had going on, the cat scale. So there's that as well. We already made mention of most of the other stuff that popped up on those slides. And then there were a few other things that they went over, and not that they weren't important, but they were, again, they weren't as important as the amount of discussion they got would imply. I guess that's the best way I would put it here. No, oh my god, I'm scrolling through the Discord and I just saw the fucking Ishtola doll. The Ishlada
You didn't want to, oh god, yeah. You didn't want to listen to like 20, 30 minutes of them talking about why we need to spend gil to teleport?
No, Larry, I didn't, because I haven't paid for a teleport in 5 years anyway.
No, Larry, it's 35 minutes of belts.
Right? Yeah. Oh my God! Wait, is this true? I didn't see this part, but I saw a tweet about it. The belt chests. If a chest had a belt in it, only a belt. Does that chest still exist, and you just can't open it? Is that really what's happening?
So anyway, they replaced Speed Belt with Speed Ring, which was actually a major question because the Speed Belt of all the belts is the belt that is the most pain in the ass to get. And so anyone with one was being griefed. So yeah, they did replace it with a ring. I thought they would replace it with a choker because, because a choker is really just a belt for your neck.
Just put it
here.
Yeah,
exactly. A choker is really just a belt for your neck. Is all it is. So I thought they'd do that, but they went with a ring instead. So that's going to be a fat ring. If you've ever tried to wrap a whole belt around one finger? That's
no, never tried to do that.
No? Do I have a belt?
Oh, God,
yeah, let me just hear you go.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Let's see.
Stop, Dad. No.
We're doing this live, chat.
All right,
we're doing this live. Here we go.
Speed ring.
Here we go.
This is the speed ring right here. Hold on. I can't even get it tight enough.
Dad's getting the belt.
Yeah, there you go. Let's see. Hold on. There we go. Okay.
So this is what you got to do in Eureka, huh?
Yeah, this is
the content.
This is the content. There you go. So there's the speed ring right there.
You're gonna go so fast now.
Yeah, this is gonna make you go so fast. You have no idea. This is the speed ring right here. This is also a monk weapon, in case you haven't figured it out. Because if you punch someone with this, it's gonna be very unpleasant for both you and them. It has recoil damage.
See now, Happy Chat's afraid you're gonna whoop them. Look what you did.
Well, they better behave.
Damn. Damn.
Just behave, and we don't have to have that. You should only be afraid if you're misbehaving. I don't understand the concern.
Chat's like, I've been a bad chat.
Listen, it's a sword or a belt. Which one do you want? Because everyone seems to be okay with the sword, but apparently the belt is too much. And Mr. Daddy won't take it anymore.
Oh no. Not Mr. Daddy.
Not Mr. Daddy. Oh my god.
Oh boy.
The Ethernet thing was pretty cool. They're adjusting the UI for that entirely, and they're adding like a little like it shows you exactly the spot on the map. A huge complaint for me is I forget the names of all the Ethernet locations because I so barely use it to go places. So this I think this is awesome. This Ethernet change with the map and everything. So that gets big points for me. Teleportation fees, people have been saying there was somewhat of a mistranslation on the live stream in that they're not changing Etherite tickets at all. That was a big fear. They were like, oh, Etherite tickets, sorry, but there might be some changes. That apparently all they were really trying to say is because it's more expensive, consider more carefully how you use them. I'm like, I got thousands of these things. I don't care. I'm still not going to pay for teleports. That's all there is to it, as far as I'm concerned. Gathering HQ item removal, super important in a combat live letter, but that's an interesting thing. What do you think they're going to do to because they said that they're basically going to increase yield with the stats that increased HQ chance before. So are recipes just going to take more items to balance it all out?
Let me think about that. I have a level 80 Fisher.
Probably not the best example.
That's all I have.
So when are you getting the world-class troller title?
Oh, doesn't that take a long time? I know you have it.
That took me
How
3
long
months.
does that take? Yeah, no, sorry, I can't do that. That's very good though. That's probably the best title in the game.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of in terms of affecting a recipe would be, well, they wouldn't make you, I don't think they would let you add more to the recipe. Like, hey, it requires, say something requires 2 whatever. It won't let you add 2 more to increase, quality or anything like that. I'm really not sure how they're going to calculate quality based on starting materials. And that's something we're probably going to learn in the next live letter, which I'm really interested in now. I think the whole we're losing more buttons from our crafters or our gatherers now because we're losing quality. So there's another change. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to change the dynamic with quality and with crafting, because December it's going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
So we really need to know this.
A lot of people in chat kind of agree. I agree with is that they will increase the amount of intermediary items that you need for crafts, because only the base items cannot be HQ, the actual gathered items. You can craft HQ still, which means that if you need to craft something to make something else, you would probably want that intermediary material to be high quality. So an increase in the amount of those you need, at least when you get to that upper end, might be one of the things. But I feel like that can't be the only thing you do, because you still have to get to the intermediate material as well.
Right.
I wonder if they would make it so it normally costs 2 items to make something, but if you use 4, you get the higher.
See, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying. No, I don't think they would do that.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of not the same solution. It doesn't quite work.
You would go. Yeah, in terms of efficiency, in terms of economy, you would go through so many, you would go through so much more items that you would already, budgeted around. I think it's kind of stupid, honestly.
Yeah. They also confirmed that they will be doing an enhanced echo for undersized options for certain content to make sure that after the stat squish, that the experience is still approximately equal to before. They had mentioned this in the previous live letter that they might add a mini echo. So that way, undersizing does not feel any different at any level range as it would have before the stat squish, and it seems that that's what they've landed on. Which I am okay with. There's belt removal. I'm going back. I'm going up from the bottom at this point. Unreal being temporarily removed. They kind of soft said this before, but they didn't actually confirm it. I'm hoarding. I got 750 leaves right now. I'm waiting for 6.1. When I get to 1,000, I'm just waiting. That's all it. HP bars.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it does, because the whole point is that it's supposed to be scaled to the patch. So if you're not doing one in 6.0, then you can't just leave Leviathan in.
Also, even if it was scaled, even if they could make something scaled in time, it would be something on a weekly lockout that exists at release, and that's why they don't do the raid right away, is because they don't want something on a weekly lockout to make you want to rush through the story. They want you to have that time to be able to take your time and do the story.
Yeah. Sly,
So that's another reason.
No, you were saying something about HP bar.
Yeah, it's now always displayed when incapacitated, and I don't like it.
Oh yeah, I was reminded of the tweet. So apparently that the person that's dead in that picture was Sophia. We confirmed.
Oh, is this when he wiped when Rich was carrying through Uwu?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, that happened.
I'm sorry, it can't be. It was on the sand, so like something got him.
That's the Titan face. So. It's just the brightness is all the way up.
Okay.
That's all it is. Okay. Yeah, the only way to turn it off now is to set it to never display. But if you have it on when HP is below 100%, currently it disappears when they die, even when it's set to that. And now when you're on that setting, it'll display. I play on that setting, and I can tell you right now when the next exploration content comes out, I am turning that shit all the way off. Listen, I don't mind rezzing people. I don't need any HP bars popping up on my screen. There's too many fucking dead people in content like that for me to want all their HP bars on the screen. So, in 8-man content, that's fine. I'm okay with that. And actually, I think it's better in 8-man content because sometimes I wonder where the person's dead so I can figure out how they died. That won't happen anymore.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's fine. They also have this display party members target when casting. I don't think this was a good idea.
I think it clutters it a little bit.
I think if you're going to do this, do whatever they are targeting, period. Not just what they are casting on. Just select their current target. Because as soon as Swiftcast is in there, it's pointless. You're like, yeah, by the way, it doesn't work with Swiftcast. What the fuck do you think? That's exactly how I'm raising people. That means I'm not learning anything.
Yeah, to be fair, like the only way I could see this like being beneficial is for, healers, hard raising the same person. And like, oh, okay, never mind. Like, you got it. Go back to DPS.
It's a little bit of clutter for not a lot of game.
True.
And probably a little bit of data transfer that we already know they struggle with dealing with this game's, baggage. And I feel like this isn't going to help.
The spaghetti code.
The spaghetti code.
Right. The enhancements and the conditional enhancements, that's a good quality of life. I will accept that. Separation.
What? Oh, yeah. So you can separate like certain types of buffs from each other. So like procs versus.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's big. Still don't see anything about the HP and MP bar being split. Would really like to see something about that.
I'm sure we'll get that eventually. That's probably the next thing after swapping the buffs.
Yeah.
After being able to split the buffs out, that was probably higher on their list.
I'm just tired of. I want to turn MP off on jobs like Dragoon. Stop telling me. Just stop telling me. I don't need to know. I want to get rid of it. Oh man.
One day
we'll have. I'm gonna play Dragoon. Why'd I use that as an example? Just doesn't have MP, I guess. I'm not gonna play Dragoon. I'm gonna level it. Ground targeting. They added a few new options. Double tapping the action button to place it, as well as preventing the cursor from moving beyond the range. That's my favorite one.
I like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's so annoying being like 1 pixel off and you're like, ah!
Right. Mm-hmm.
So,
and that happens fairly often, too. So.
Yeah, especially on Ninja, which was the job they displayed it on. That was a big one. They're also going back and updating all the old raids to match the kind of like gear distribution that we have in the higher end raids. That's kind of weird. Not because it doesn't make sense, because it does. The whole game should be, function the same way. It shouldn't matter that a content is old. It should just be that's the way the game works, and that's the way the game works. But to actively go back and update it, I mean,
like coil.
Yeah, for getting glam pieces in particular, it's a buff essentially.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I guess people have been going back and doing mid item level. Maybe they're just like it should be on par experience wise, so people know. They also are changing. They're giving trials weapon coffer. I asked about this, and people told me that's what the totems are for. And I'm like, I shouldn't need 10 totems when there's 19 weapons in the game. It's 190 totems. I don't.
Yeah.
It should be a little bit less of an annoyance. And besides, I want to get them out, so I don't want to use them on the weapon. So all I know is I told them it took me 43 or 49 monk kills before I saw my weapon drop. And I was trying to save for the mount at the same time, and I was just annoyed. And he said, yeah, we're going to do something about that. I said, cool, thanks.
Oh, well, thanks, Happy.
No, he didn't do it because of me. He just confirmed that they were doing it.
No, he did it because you asked him.
That's right, yeah, I forgot I called him up on the red phone that everyone knows that I have.
Red phone.
Party Finder, separating healer, pure healer, and berry healer. They said originally they weren't sure if they'd do that in the Party Finder, but it seems like they landed on doing it, which makes sense given how important having one of each is. Raid Finder is the same way. And then I think there's one other thing that I skipped over. Oh yeah, EXP and dungeons. The bosses pretty much have all the EXP now. So, that's it. And then other than that, we got to see a creepy doll.
Well, that's a brand of dolls. Those are so big.
So hideous.
They're so big in
I'm
Japan.
so sorry to the company who puts in all the hard work to probably hand make those things, but they're fucking creepy. All right, that's not as and she's on the fucking login screen right now.
Yep, you see it as soon as you log in. Go to log in.
Yeah. Imagine if it was Calco or Brina. Or Calcabrina.
That would be perfect. I mean, that's the exact kind of look you wanted for those dolls. So yeah, I mean they're so big. Personally, I think they're a little creepy looking too. But that's a big community. It's a very expensive hobby.
Yeah, it is. And I don't find the hobby creepy, but I find what is being collected creepy.
That's fair.
That's the best I can do with that.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, other than that, it's the usual miscellaneous, hey, we are going to announce these, this album and, next live letter and stuff like that. Collector's Edition is on sale. Weapon design contest ongoing. Final Fantasy 15 event ongoing. Dragon Quest event is returning. The vinyl's out. The fucking doll. Move on. Apparently, you can now just put a plushie on the back of a back scratcher and do this and sell it. That's a thing now. So, yeah. They have the acrylics for the new jobs. They have the job pins for the new jobs. They have the official calendar, which was empty when they showed it to us. And I think that pretty much covers everything.
Yeah, you did it.
Yeah.
We did.
Well, there was one other thing I think with the Party Finder was, which I wasn't sure about on their wording, but it was something like when you are a certain job, like let's say you're on White Mage, and then the Party Finder doesn't allow a White Mage to join, it won't even show that party to you.
Yeah, I think they specifically said that was under search. So, like, if you actually use the search function to look through there,
Only
as opposed to just
searching.
Yeah, because I definitely saw that, and I was like, wait, what if I want to change jobs?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
So I was thinking about that, and I think that's all it means.
So they clarified it's only under search.
Yes. That's what it says, at least. It says search in the thing. I didn't see that the first time either.
Yeah. That's what I hope.
And there was one other thing also. Oh yeah, you can set a new restriction to hasn't obtained loot yet this week.
Right.
Which is a good thing, because sometimes, people don't notice that that's ticked, and they're just like,
clears that up.
Where's my loot? Oh wait, I already did this? I don't remember. It's Tuesday.
Yeah.
It reset. Oh wow. All right. Well, we only went 30 minutes over, which was impressive, given the.
It's a live letter show.
Given
they
it's
went
a live
4
letter
hours
show.
over. Yeah.
Maybe realistically only went like 2 and some change over, but that's
with some changeover.
Yeah. But yeah, so it was. Listen, our show's not gonna be 6+ hours here. I couldn't do that to you, Larry. Quite literally, because you just leave.
Goodbye.
Oh, you lagged for a second there, so I thought you did leave.
Yeah.
Maybe I did.
So Larry,
Sorry, I
are, we
don't
getting you
know what
on, are we getting you on for the next live letter show? That's probably going to be like 5 hours.
You mean the live viewing? He has a family,
Yeah.
Sly.
No.
This man has a family.
Yeah, I don't want to stay up that late. I'm old.
Old Larry. Not quite old Greg, but you can be old Larry.
Yeah.
That's fine. Well, Larry, don't worry. We won't be keeping you much longer here, but we do appreciate you joining us for this episode of State of the Realm. We're trying to, of course, we're getting closer to Endwalker, so we're bringing the show back into some normalcy, and we hope you had a good time.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me. It's always a blast. Always a blast. And especially I got to talk about Summoner, so.
We always make sure you get to talk about Summoner, even if there's nothing in the show about Summoner.
Yeah.
It would be cursed if we were like, Larry, listen, nothing about Summoner is in the show, and then he leaves.
And then he leaves. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You do a Chocobo racing show. Like, wait, where's the Summoner, the Chocobo racing show?
The Chocobo in the race is wearing the Summoner barding. It's got the donger.
There we go.
On the head. There you go. That's how we get it. That's how we rope it in. That's how we do it.
Don't talk about that damn game, please.
Oh yeah, Chocobo Kart. We're gonna play that, right, Sly?
No.
I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about 14's Chocobo racing. But now that you've brought it up, I can't wait to play Chocobo Kart with you, Sly.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Yes, it is. Sly, I'll just do my deep voice and I'll coerce you. Sly. We're going to play some Chocobo Kart.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Kool-Aid Man. Oh, yeah.
Smooth jazz Kool-Aid Man. All right. With that, let's do our sign-offs, shall we? Larry, thank you again for joining us. Why don't you tell everyone where they can find you at?
I'm Larry. Hello. You could find me on Larry Zor on YouTube and Twitter. Those things that I do. Thank you.
Discord was trying to get you off of the call way sooner.
Really?
It was trying to lag super hard through that, yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. What's going on?
My internet. I
just blame Discord. We don't blame your internet. Blame Discord.
I don't
Discord
know.
more often than not.
It could be Discord.
It's
My
most of the
internet's
time.
been fine. So
Exactly.
I don't know. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
Okay.
You became a robot at the very last word.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
That's
perfect.
fine.
Laggy Zor. Damn it. Anyway.
That's me.
It's too good. Sly, let's tell everyone where they can find you at, what you got going on, because your hell season is coming up.
You can find me at twitch.tv/Sly, aka Gray Fox. You can find me on Twitter at Sly the Fox. Yeah, like he says, hell season is fastly approaching. Once end of October hits, like October 27th, I will have no time to eat, sleep, or shit. So, looking forward to it.
I feel like you should make time for at least two of those things.
Yeah, one of them might make you die.
Yeah, I won't have time. I won't have the time.
Which one? Larry?
Yeah.
Probably the pooping.
Yeah. It's like the fuck Mary equivalent of life necessities.
Yeah, you got to get rid of that.
And you,
Happy, what are you doing? Where can they find you?
You can find me, Mr. Happy1227, mentally preparing for the next several weeks of my life because they will be very, very busy ones. We will actually be doing our long-awaited spoiler cast next week. I need to hard confirm the time. Yes, Ethos is finally available. He suggested we do it on October 1st in the States, October 2nd in Australia. And so I'll reconfirm with him a start time. But that is currently the plan, is to do our spoiler cast next week, and then we'll work with him to get the final lore show before Endwalker actually comes out. He said probably in the next 3 weeks, so maybe not the week after that. But,
Okay.
you know, we'll see, because I'm sure it's going to be no problem filling in shows after middle of October passes. I I am also part of an event this weekend. I'm over on Echo_Esports. I'm casting for their first time blind progression into Eden's Gate. So tomorrow I'll be on at 7 a.m. Pacific, and then on the final day I'll be on again at 10 a.m. Pacific, and we'll be following the team and seeing how they do and how they break apart and understand. They're basically WoW world first raiders who are trying to tackle Final Fantasy XIV raids completely blind with as very, very little experience in Final Fantasy XIV overall. The event today was a blast. Guests, giveaways, and fun times. So definitely be sure to tune into that. That'll start at around, I think, 3:30 a.m. Pacific tomorrow, and then it will go all the way until just after 1 in the afternoon Pacific. So that is the other thing I've got going on, and so I don't have time to sleep. Oh, I said sleet. That's sleep and shit at the same time. Yeah, that's sleeping and shitting at the same time. So definitely don't want to do that. That would
I thought it was ice rain.
Yeah, that's also what it is, Larry. Thank you.
I don't have that anymore. I live in Florida now. I miss it.
Yeah, I
miss the cold.
I was gonna say I feel like you had a worse trade for that. So that's fun. Anyway, thank you everyone for joining us. We're gonna move on into a short post show so Larry can go do his stuff. We'll probably only be here just a few minutes, but thank you everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you next week for 5.55 spoiler cast. Better late than never.
Yeah.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Take care. See you next week.